Hey guys, what's up? We're back with another gun review. This is of the AGM, or Javelin, MP44 STG 44. Let me just say, this is a great gun. I mean, just look at it. How many times on the field are you going to see one of these things, alright? And I can tell you from using it, looking in the gearbox, this is a good gun, alright? It's solid performing, it's solidly built, it's just overall a great gun. Let me just say, this is not my gun. This is another one of our new players, Jacob. He's going to come play with us on the 14th. You're going to see him in the videos. I'm pretty sure you're probably also going to see some helmet cam footage of me using this gun, just because I want to use it, alright? It's a really cool and unique looking gun. Well, let's get on to the review of the gun. We'll start from the front, go to the back. 14mm counterclockwise threads. I put this flash hider on all the guns we review just because it makes them look cool and it gets rid of the orange. The front sight here, now the whole front assembly actually is, full metal. It's pot metal, just so you know, because it is, a cheaper Chinese gun, but it still is very solid. Front sight, non-adjustable, it's just a post. The outer barrel here, one piece. The front gas tube and handguard, all metal. One thing that's kind of strange, and I don't know if it's on the real gun as well, but this front handguard right here, you can take it off pretty easily. All you do is just pull up and pull out. I mean, it's on there pretty good. You're not going to lose it or anything, and it's not going to fall off in game, but I don't know why they just didn't make it combined onto the gun. Surprised me there. Now, the back sight on this gun usually goes right up here. It uses an AK type back sight, and if you're wondering why it uses that, the real STG 44 is kind of like the granddaddy of the AK-47, so I guess the AK-47 kept the sight of it. This gun kind of invented the AK-47, if you didn't know that. Yeah, front sight usually goes up here. It's adjustable for elevation only. The dust cover right here is non-functional. When you pull the bolt, simply you just pull up. It's kind of like a Thompson, and the hop-up is right there. Now, one thing we had to do with this gun was change out the hop-up. It uses a standard M4 style hop-up. The original hop-up unit's right here. It's a clear hop-up unit. It's pretty bad. On most of these AGMs and such, these plastic hop-up units just don't cut it, and they don't work very well. So we replaced it with a King Arms hop-up unit, full metal, that I had extra. I just gave it to him because I was a nice guy. But that fixed the issues with the hop-up, and we also added a different inner barrel. So there's the dust cover. The body here is completely full metal, pot metal. It's really solid. It's also really heavy. This thing weighs in at almost 10 pounds, unloaded too. Alright, go to the other side here. Selector switch here is kind of different. I mean, it's just you push it and pull it. It does go to safe, semi, and full auto. Full auto being all the way in the back, safe being right in the middle, which is kind of hard to get to, and then safe being in the front, semi being in the middle. Sorry if I said that wrong. Your magazine release is right here. You just push the button in. The magazine comes out. Now, one thing about this gun is the magazines are absolutely huge, alright? This gun is not going to be practical if you're playing milsim, unless, say, you're playing in a World War II kind of style, but this magazine's huge. It's not going to fit in most pouches. Probably not even an AK pouch. I mean, look at this. Here. I got a PMag right here. The size of this mag is almost double the size of a standard M4 mag. Okay, it's huge. So unless you actually buy pouches that were made for probably the real STG, you're probably not going to be able to fit a lot of these. But other than that, it's a 300 round high cap. You wind at the bottom. One thing that's nice about this is the winding wheel down here sticks out a lot, so it's really easy to wind it even with gloves, and it also has the hole right here, so if you have a quick winder, you can use that as well. Another thing about the magazines are they look really nice. I mean, if you look up here, they kind of look like a real magazine, which is really cool looking, but it's still just an AG mag. It's not real. It can't be modified to shoot anything real. But yeah, I just thought the magazine was a really cool feature of the gun. Also, the magazine fits in there pretty good. Slight magazine wobble, but oh well. Now, the pistol grip and stuff down here, like I said again, it's all metal. These side plates are indeed a plastic. I don't see any way of taking them off either. One thing about this gun is it's not very comfortable to hold, especially barehanded. If you have gloves, though, I'm pretty sure it'll be a lot more comfortable. But, I mean, it's not very comfortable to hold. It's very chunky handguard. Right, now going back farther, we have the stock here. This is where the battery is housed. It uses a 8.4 volt stick type and only an 8.4 volt unless you do modification to the stock here. By the way, the stock is real wood. There's a version of real wood and fake wood. But yeah, unless you want to use modifications, you're going to be limited to an 8.4 volt or 7.4 LiPo, I think. But yeah. Now, to get to the battery, there's a pin right here you push out, and the whole stock comes out. I'll show you this. And there goes the pin. So this is the stock, real wood. You have a compartment up here to hold, you know, whatever you could. Now this big metal ring here is not actually mine. The original, you know, it's not part of the gun, I should say. The original sling mount was pretty crappy, and I think it broke off, but Jacob, who owns this gun, he just took a metal ring, wrapped it around, and that's what he uses as a back sling. Works well, and makes it look a little bit different. A battery here. It does come with a battery. It's a, let's see, rechargeable. Looks like a, you know, a D-Boy's battery. 8.4 volt, 1200 mAh. It's a pretty good battery. It gives a good rate of fire, and you know, it just works. This is a 9.6 volt, and try to insert it to the gun. As you can see, it does not fit. That's as far as it'll go back. So unless you do modification, you're only going to be able to fit the 8.4 volt in here. Another thing too is when the battery's in the gun, it doesn't wobble around. There's a piece of foam in there that keeps it from doing that. Alright, so we'll put this back on. It's pretty simple, just all you have to do is push it. There you go. Now if you want to check the internal video and breakdown of this gun, because there's not too many videos on this gun, especially how to break it down, but it's pretty simple, so if you want to check it out, you can check in the video description. There should be a link on the screen, and it should be up shortly after this review is posted. Now internally, it uses a version 2 gearbox. Essentially, this gun is an M4 with a STG body kit, alright? It uses a version 2 gearbox, standard design. It uses all upgrade parts. The hop-up chamber is an M4 design. Like I said, I replaced it with a King Arms hop-up chamber for an M4, M16. And it comes with a pretty long inner barrel as well. It's not as long as an AK, or it's longer than an AK, but not as long as like an M4. So it's right in between there. It's pretty long. We swapped it out for a standard M4 inner barrel just because the bore was a little bit tighter and it gave it a little bit tighter groupings, better performance as well. But yeah, overall, this is a really, really good gun. I was surprised by it for being Chinese made. It performs well. It's solid. It feeds flawlessly. That might be, of course, because of the new hop-up unit, but in the old one it also fed perfectly as well. And I mean, it's just a cool gun. In Airsoft, it's like 70% looks almost, you know? I mean, you gotta look the part as well, or people wouldn't dress up in full multicam and stuff. And this is just a cool looking gun, right? It feels nice, it's solid, it shoulders really great, and it's just, it's awesome looking. So yeah, this gun runs probably about, you know, $220 to $250 for the real wood version on most websites. You can, you know, check them out and find them there, but yeah, definitely a good gun. Like I said, the only con really was the hop-up unit, but that can be fixed. Otherwise, the internals are pretty good too. I was surprised. Like I said, check the internals video if you want to know more. But yeah, that's been the review of the STG 44.